Hi everyone, so today I'm going to talk about why visualization is not manifestation and really understanding the difference. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Brooklyn Hanna. Be sure to subscribe as I'm going to be posting content every single week. So we're going to dive into an important topic that I know has been on a lot of people's minds lately, and it's the difference between visualization and manifestation. I'm also going to get into some benefits of visualization, but hey, so there's a lot of talk in the world today about manifesting your desires as if you can think something into existence just by focusing on it hard enough. But as Christians, we know that is not how things work. In fact, relying on manifestation is quite different than relying on God. Comment yes down below if you agree. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Why visualization is not manifestation and how we can use visualization in a God-centered way without falling into the trap of thinking that we have all the power within ourselves. So let's start with what manifestation really means, especially in the way that people often talk about it today. So when people talk about manifestation, they usually mean this idea about simply thinking or focusing on something, and by doing that, they can attract something into their lives. So whether it's money, health, relationships, success, they believe that if they can think about it enough or visualize it in great detail, that the universe will somehow deliver what they're asking for. This philosophy often puts the individual at the center, as if their thoughts alone have the power to shape their entire reality in the future. But for those of us who follow Christ, we know that this mindset, it's really just like incomplete at best, right? It's dangerous at worst. So the Bible is very clear. We are not self-sufficient beings who can create or manifest things apart from God. So let's take a moment to talk about why this concept of manifesting or thinking things into existence doesn't really align with the biblical worldview, right? In John 15:5, Jesus says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing." So the last part is key. Without me, you can do nothing. It's a reminder that we're not in control. No matter how much we'd like to be, we depend on God for everything. Our health, our provision, our guidance, our healing, just everything that happens to us. Yeah, to a certain extent, we can control things. We have free will. We can choose certain things, but the outcomes of things are not always up to us. And the idea of manifesting things apart from God implies that we have ultimate power, when in reality, we know that God is sovereign. He's the one who knows our needs and provides for us in his perfect timing. And if we try to manifest something in our own strength without seeking God's will or trusting his provision, we risk making an idol out of our desires. We're essentially putting our focus on what we want and not on what God wants for us. So let's talk a little bit more about the biblical view of God's sovereignty, because this is really important in understanding why manifestation doesn't fit into our faith. So Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." The verse tells us that yes, we can make plans, it's okay to dream, it's okay to have goals and make good choices, but ultimately it's God who establishes our path. It's his will that prevails, and that's a good thing. So in James 1:17, we're reminded that every good and perfect gift comes from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. God gives us good things, but they come from him. We are supposed to give glory to him, not from our ability to manifest or manipulate outcomes. And that's what sets Christianity apart from New Age or secular ideas of manifestation, our belief in God's sovereignty and his role as our provider. So when we're talking about achieving something, whether it's better health, financial outcomes, or a particular goal, we're not manifesting it. We're trusting God to provide it according to his will and his timing. We're aligning our hearts with his. We're praying for guidance. So now that we've established that we can't manifest things outside of God's will, let's talk about visualizations, because this is where some people get confused. Unlike manifestation, visualization is a tool we can use to help rewire our brains and prepare our minds for action, but it's always done in partnership with God. Visualization is not about attracting something from the universe. Instead, it's about using our God-given ability to think, imagine, and prepare for the future in a healthy and productive way. So when you visualize, you're not assuming that you have the power to bring something into existence. Instead, you're using visualization to get your mind and your heart in alignment for God's truth and with God's truth. So for example, let's say you're visualizing yourself serving at your church, feeling healthy, just joyful and energized and happy. You're not like manifesting it and willing it into existence on your own. What you're doing is preparing your body and brain for what could be, all while asking God to guide you and trust Him with results. Now, but visualization is powerful, especially for those of us who are dealing with chronic symptoms, right? I no longer have to battle that anymore because of the powerful brain rewiring methods along with Jesus. All glory to Him. But if you do have chronic symptoms like brain fog and fatigue and sensitivities and pain, visualization works really well. There's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of science behind how God created our brains. And so when you visualize something positive, like being free of fear and just like outliving your life and you're joyful, you're actually training your brain to form new neural networks and pathways. You're replacing old thought patterns that might be based in fear, anxiety, or stress or rumination with new, healthier ones. This isn't magic. It's not manifesting. It's simply how God designed our brains to work. Now here's where visualization can be really powerful, like I said. So when you visualize something positive, as I mentioned, you're creating new neural pathways. So visualizing something positive can help also boost healthy neurotransmitters. So there are 4 key neurotransmitters that it boosts: dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin. And these are really healing chemicals that God has built into our bodies to promote well-being and joy and happiness. Visualization also primes your brain for real-life action. For example, if you see yourself serving at the church and enjoying it, you're more likely to follow through and take those actions towards that goal. It motivates you, it excites you, preparing your brain for future success. Or maybe you visualize yourself working out and you see yourself at the gym really strong and motivated and excited. You're more likely to follow through. So it primes your brain to kind of get excited for goals and see yourself that way. Another thing it helps is crowd out those old negative thought loops like I talked about. So by visualizing something positive, you're actively wiring out those unhealthy thinking patterns, killing those pathways off, not making room for those to keep popping up. And those may be holding you back. And then again, visualization can help reduce stress hormones. So like cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. This stress reduction is crucial for anyone dealing with, chronic health challenges, because stress can make physical symptoms worse. And because of the strong mind-body connection, visualization can actually support relief from chronic health issues. It's one of the ways that we can use our minds to support our bodies in healing, of course, through all of God's grace and His timing and all of that. But then here's another benefit. Visualization can help you grow spiritually, because when you visualize yourself stepping out of the fear-based thinking patterns that are keeping you from God, right? And you move into a place of trusting God, you're actively working to align your mind with His truth. So you can even bring God directly into your visualizations. You can, just have a day with Him where you're talking with Him, where maybe He's teaching you and you're rehearsing things that you just learned at church, stating promises to you and just giving you hope. You can also see yourself with Christ-like behaviors that please Him. So you can see yourself serving at the church or doing things you believe God would want you to do. And then visualization also helps you feel positive emotions such as joy and peace and comfort. These are all things God desires for us, and visualization helps us experience these positive emotions. He wants us to have joy and peace and all the fruits of the Spirit. And so when we visualize ourselves with those, it can be really helpful. And then finally, visualization creates positive associations with things that maybe we've thought of negatively before. So whether it's an upcoming event, a person, a situation, by visualizing with God's help, you're training your brain to see things through a new lens, through positivity and hope, and possibly really instead of the fear that you maybe thought of that situation or that thing or that person previously. But the key is that we're doing all this while acknowledging our dependence on God. We're visualizing not to control the outcome, but to get our minds and hearts ready to act in faith, trusting that God will establish our steps. So how do we keep our visualization Christ-centered instead of drifting off into the mindset of manifestation? Well, it's simple. We invite God into the process. Instead of visualizing in a self-centered way where we're trying to force an outcome, we can visualize in a God-honoring way. So this might look like praying before you visualize, asking God to show you His will. It might look like seeing yourself and acting in ways that are pleasing to Him, like serving others or walking out in faith. For example, instead of visualizing yourself simply getting everything you want and things like that here on this earth, you could visualize yourself responding to any life circumstance, no matter what the outcome is, with Christ-like behavior. You might visualize yourself experiencing this peace and this joy and this trust in God, regardless of what happens next. So the bottom line is this: visualization is a tool, but God is the one who controls the outcome. We can visualize ourselves, taking action, pursuing our goal, and living in alignment with God's will, but we must always remember that we can do nothing apart from Him. As Christians, we have this beautiful assurance that our future is in the hands of a loving, all-powerful God. So as you go about your day and maybe even practice some visualization, ask yourself, am I relying on my own power to make something happen? Or am I trusting in God's power to guide me? Remember, it's not about manifesting, it's about partnering with God, praying for His will to be done, and preparing our hearts and our minds for what He has in store for us. So I hope this video has been helpful in really clarifying the difference between visualization and manifestation, as well as talking about the benefits of visualizations. And as we go through life, it's important to stay grounded in our faith and remember that while tools like visualization can be helpful, they're only truly effective when we place our trust in God's will and His timing. So thanks for watching. Be sure to join our next challenge if you have chronic symptoms of any sort, or if you want to just grow spiritually, renew your mind for Christ. Join our challenge. You can go to limbicsystemrewire.com/sensitivity workshop and join that next challenge. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more Christ-centered insights on health, healing, faith, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, stay blessed and keep trusting Him.